Ok, grab à dollar.
And yeah, I know who has cash anymore. But hold it for a sec, because this sad little bill used to be an absolute unit. Back in 1970, $1 bought what takes almost $9 today. Flip that around and it's genuinely brutal. Your dollar is worth like 12 cents now. 88% of its power gone. That's not a dip, that's a faceplant. And the unhinged part? Nobody even hit it. The people in charge will look you dead in the eye and tell you melting your money is good for you. So let's do the greatest legal heist you never noticed. Who's melting your cash, why, and how to stop being the one left holding the puddle. Let's go. We grow up thinking money is a fixed thing. A dollar is a dollar, right? Nope. Money isn't a rock. It's a measuring stick that keeps shrinking. And because it shrinks slow, like a few percent a year, you don't really feel it. You just notice everything costs more, your paycheck has the financial equivalent of commitment issues, and the cash in your savings buys a little less every year you let it sit there. We call that slow shrink inflation, and most people treat it like weather, just a thing that happens. It is not just a thing that happens. Somebody's literally turning the dial. So let's answer 3 questions. Why does your dollar lose value? Who decides how fast? And what does it mean for your money? And no, this isn't a vibes video. It's all from the boring but legit stuff, the Bureau of Labor Statistics, the Fed's own stated policy, actual economists. I'll even tell you where the money printer go BRRR crowd is wrong. Because the honest version is funnier. Let's get into it. To get why your dollar melts, we gotta go back to one very specific main character moment. August 1971. Before then, the dollar was tied to gold. Basically, the government couldn't just print money out of thin air. Every dollar was kinda sorta a claim on real gold sitting in a vault. Then President Nixon went, yeah, we're done with that, and closed the gold window. From that day on, the dollar became fiat money, which is a fancy word for it has value because we all agree it does, and that's it. Nothing backing it but trust and vibes. And here's why that matters. Once money isn't tied to anything physical, there's no hard cap on how much can exist. So they made a lot more of it. More dollars chasing the same amount of actual stuff means each dollar is worth a little less. That's inflation in one sentence. More dollars, same pizza, so the pizza costs more. 1971 is the year the brakes came off. So if the dollar can melt, who decides how fast? This is the part that makes people do a spit take. There's a whole building of people whose literal job is managing this, the Federal Reserve. And plot twist. The Fed is not trying to stop inflation. It's aiming for it. The official goal is to make prices rise about 2% every year. Forever. Read that again. Their actual plan is a dollar that loses 2% a year on purpose. That's like a personal trainer going, the goal is for you to lose a little muscle every year. Indefinitely. Like, bro, what? And 2% sounds tiny, but compounding is ruthless. At 2% a year, prices basically double every 35-ish years. Stack on the wild 1970s and the 2022 spike and boom. The 88% nuke we started with. The dial isn't broken. It's set to slowly melt. On purpose. Also, fun fact, they only made 2% the official number in 2012, and they kind of stole it from New Zealand. Economists still fight about it. Blanchard and Ball say it should be 3 or 4%. Bernanke and Yellen are like, absolutely not. It's a made-up number people argue over, not a law of physics. Now, if I stopped here, you'd think this is just a printing press robbing you in the dark. That's the version that goes viral. It's also too simple, and I promised you honest. First, the whole money printer go BRRR equals instant inflation thing isn't one-to-one. Milton Friedman, econ legend, famously said, inflation is always and everywhere a monetary phenomenon. Which sounds cool on a t-shirt, but there's a catch. Nerds write it as MV equals PQ, and that little v, how fast money actually moves around, can totally flop. After 2008, the Fed made trillions of new dollars and inflation stayed low for like a decade, because that money mostly just sat there. It wasn't until 2021 to 22, stimulus plus broken supply chains plus an energy mess, that prices actually went nuclear. So money matters, but it's not a simple light switch. Second, and this is the uncomfy one, a little inflation is actually good. The opposite, deflation, where prices fall. Sounds amazing until you realize nobody buys anything. Why buy today if it's cheaper next month? And the whole economy seizes up. That's a big part of why the Great Depression got so brutal. So the 2% melt isn't a villain's master plan. It's a trade-off, done in the open, with real upsides and real downsides. The honest take. It's not a conspiracy, it's a policy. And you mostly eat the downside if you don't know the game. Because here's the thing, the melting dollar doesn't hit everyone the same. It quietly moves money from one group to another, and the real research on this is wild. Two economists, Doepke and Schneider, published a paper in the Journal of Political Economy doing the actual math on who wins and loses. The losers? People owed a fixed pile of future dollars, bondholders and folks sitting on cash. And get this, they skew old and rich. The winners? People who owe fixed dollars because they pay it back with melted ones, and they skew young with a fixed-rate mortgage. So inflation literally shrinks a 25-year-old's mortgage while it melts grandpa's bonds. The responsible saver loses. The person in debt for a house wins. And the single biggest winner? The government, the largest borrower on the planet, which gets to pay back its insane debt with cheaper dollars. So real talk, inflation is a slow transfer from cash and bond-rich savers to mortgaged young people and the government. Where it robs you is if you keep your money in the thing that melts, straight cash. You can't fire the Fed, so play the game that's actually on the board. 1. Cash is a melting ice cube. Keep a little for emergencies, sure, but money sitting in cash for years is guaranteed to lose. Just saving in dollars isn't safe, it's a slow leak. 2. Beat the melt by owning stuff that melts up, things that rise with inflation. A slice of businesses through index funds, real estate, your own skills. You don't win by hoarding dollars, you win by owning the stuff inflation pushes up. 3. The mindset glow up. Stop counting your money in dollars and start counting it in what it can actually buy. Your account number can go up while its real power goes down. Watch the power, not the number. So, your dollar lost 88% of its power since 1970, and it wasn't a heist in a ski mask. The brakes came off in 71, the Fed melts at 2% a year on purpose, and that slow melt quietly moves money from people holding cash to people holding stuff. The one thing to remember, the dollar is designed to lose value, so the move isn't collecting dollars. It's owning the things the melting dollar makes more expensive. Savers fall behind on autopilot. Owners stay ahead by design. If this finally made inflation make sense, subscribe, we do the honest version, jokes and receipts included.